They're still noisy over there. I think it's going to AMCS rather than KTEC. I think it's going to AMCS rather than... Aha. Excellent. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us in sunny Darwin. We're live streaming today both via Keep Top and Coast Healthy Facebook and the Australian Marine Conservation Society Facebook. So thank you for joining us. We're speaking to you from sunny Darwin, where we're very lucky to live in one of the most beautiful places in the world. Right here in our backyard, we have Darwin Harbour as our backdrop. It's a harbour 5 times the size of Sydney Harbour, and it's home to extraordinary species like dugong and turtle and dolphin. So we're very lucky. So today we're going to have a chat about why you should care about NT coasts, and we've got both Anastasia Mortimer and Jackie Taylor here on Facebook to answer any of your questions, respond to any of your comments. So please do engage as we go through. Those guys are there and did a fabulous job in setting up today's webinar. Wherever you are joining us from, we're keen to hear where you are. So please just do pop it in one of your comments and say where you are. We're on Larrakia country here in Darwin. So I acknowledge their elders, past, present and emerging. They have been custodians over this sea country for thousands of years, and we're very fortunate to be able to be meeting here today. So I have some images for you today. So let's open that up. Excellent. So a little bit about Keep Top and Coast Healthy. We're an alliance of groups who run a community campaign here in the Northern Territory. The groups are the Environment Centre of the Northern Territory, the Australian Marine Conservation Society and Pew Charitable Trusts. And we work with communities up here who are connected to their coasts, who use their coasts and who care greatly about their coasts. And we've got a 10,000 strong list of people who've engaged in our campaign, and we've got a lot of people who are active, and it's essential that we all work together on these community campaigns, and it's a pleasure to work with the Territory community. And I mean, why do we care about our top end coasts? So here in the top end, we have one of the last intact tropical ecosystems in the world. We have something very special right here on our doorstep. This is an image of Limon River, which is on the western side of the Gulf of Carpentaria. We are also home to many rare and endangered species and healthy fish stocks, and it's a pleasure to have them here in our backyard. And where the Great Barrier Reef has around 600 islands, here in the Northern Territory, we've got 887 islands. We've got a beautiful, diverse and rich coastline. This image here is of the Vernon Islands, quite close to Darwin, and I've had the pleasure of visiting there myself. We have the world's oldest culture here in the Northern Territory, with Aboriginal people maintaining their connection to country. For saltwater people, all aspects of social, cultural and economic life are intimately connected with the health of their coasts and seas. This is a beautiful image of Darwin Harbour, our backyard and playground. Territorians, Darwinites use Darwin Harbour at least once a week, whether it's for walking along the coastline, having a picnic, getting out on the water. And we've certainly seen during COVID isolation, our beaches and coasts have been flooded with people, and that's been great to see. We have enormous fishing values here in the Northern Territory, recreational fishing as well as tourism fishing. This image is taken at Coburg Marine Park, and it's home to some of the best fishing in the country, and it attracts people from around the world to go and experience that fishing. We have also commissioned a report that looks at the value that our coasts have, and some of the country's best economic experts were engaged, and they identified that Territory coasts support over 6,000 jobs and contribute $2 billion to the Territory economy every year. Despite all these great values, there are significant threats on the rise here in the Northern Territory. This is a mud crab which is featured in this image, and it was a couple of years ago that we saw the mud crab fishery in the Territory almost collapse due to climate change impacts. So we're starting to see our systems in decline. So where our coasts are at a crossroads, and now is the time to act. So I'll take us all through a few of the threats that we're starting to face in the Northern Territory. Our coasts are still in good health up here, and that's largely been due to good luck rather than good management. Historically, we've had low impacts up here in the north, but the impacts are starting to increase. So we now need to step up and make sure that we put adequate management and protection measures in place. This is a image of a juvenile barramundi, much sought after fishing species. Last year, our wet season was so poor that the barramundi failed to breed and recruit in the Daly River, and the Daly River is one of our most prized fishing rivers, so that's very concerning to see. Also, in the 2015-16 wet season up here, we saw an unprecedented mangrove dieback, a length of 1,000 kilometres in the Gulf of Carpentaria, saw the mangroves die due to a climate-related event. And these mangroves have largely not recovered. You'll see an image of healthy mangroves with the green colour and an image of dead mangroves with the grey colour, and that's certainly concerning. We're also suffering from coral bleaching here in the Northern Territory. This is an image of showing the coral bleaching alert. The maroon colour indicates water temperatures 8 degrees above normal, and the red colour indicates water temperatures 4 degrees above normal. And when it gets up to 8 degrees above normal, the mortality is likely. So we're most likely to see coral bleaching. So this was an image from 26th of January 2018, just a snapshot, and you can see that the Northern Territory coast is really suffering, and we've certainly seen coral bleaching. This here is a golden snapper. So while we've got relatively healthy coasts up here, we've seen our first fish species measured as at risk of collapse, being both the golden snapper and the black jewfish. So we're certainly not immune to the problems we've seen elsewhere. This here is up on the Arnhem Coast, and it's the Arnhem Coast in the Northern Territory that's bearing the brunt of marine debris and plastic pollution. A lot of it is foreign sourced, washing up on the coast, and in this area they have some of the highest densities of rubbish washing up in their beaches. And without this rubbish, they're relatively pristine beaches, relatively untouched, but we've got piles of plastic, and this is a ghost net which is washed up here, which is very concerning. This here is a map which is showing proposals for seabed mining in the Northern Territory. Wherever there's colours in the coastal environment shows where there's interest in seabed mining. While it is not allowed anywhere across the country, we're seeing proposals here in the Northern Territory. This is a zoomed in map of the Fog Bay, Anson Bay and Highland Bay area. And any keen fishers in the Northern Territory will know this area well. And also, apparently this year in Fog Bay, they're having a bumper banana prawn season. It's certainly very fertile and great fishing in this area. And where you can see the pink colour, it is on my screen, that's where there is proposed seabed mining. So, and all the dots and the other marks are fishing attraction sites. So there might be places that people can go and fish and ensure there's a good catch. And you can clearly see that there's an overlap. So seabed mining, it's like bulldozing the seafloor. It would have devastating impact on our marine ecosystems and our fishing lifestyle up here. This here is an image of Middle Arm in Darwin Harbour. And for those of us who live up here and know this area, you can see the Impex gas processing plant and the Darwin LNG processing plant. They've got the lines across the area. All the other coloured areas are essentially proposed industrial development. So you can see that what we have in terms of our LNG plants, the scale will be dwarfed if this industrial development goes ahead. So we're talking about 600 hectares, which is equivalent to about 350 football fields of area, which would be dedicated to big industrial development. So this would change the shape of Darwin Harbour forever. So it's a proposal at this stage, and they're doing, environmental investigations, etc. Our harbour is also at risk of pollution and does suffer from pollution. So as we have increased industry, increased shipping and so forth, the risk of pollution and damage increases. So this is an image taken when there was an oil spill which covered 30 kilometres of Darwin Harbour from a cargo ship. So these types of things and accidents do occur in our harbour, which is our backyard. This here is an image of an unknown black plume, which was released out of the East Point sewerage plant. These images were taken by an ecotourism operator out there. And I still haven't heard what this substance was that was released into the water. And it's a good place to note that, marine tourism, fishing tourism is very significant in the Northern Territory. And if you've got a marine tourism operator encountering this type of thing, certainly impacts reputation of our tourism industry up here. So we need to really look after the health of our coasts. Another threat that we're facing up here is investigations into the Roper River, one of our greatest rivers in the top end, and the potential for dams, weirs and pipelines, and clearing of 1 million hectares of that catchment and putting in irrigated agriculture. And as the quote says at the top of this slide from the Catherine Times, cotton is clearly top priority. So after our experience in the Murray-Darling, I think that we should be, taking care of our top end rivers, which support our fishing, which support our ecosystems, but there's still investigations looking at damming this mighty river and putting in irrigated agriculture. So that's a concern to a lot of Territorians. So up here with Keep Top End Coast Healthy, in our efforts to identify the great values we have, environmental, social, cultural and economic, and working with our Northern Territory community, we bring everyone together to make sure that we're putting in the appropriate management and protection measures in place going forward so we can maintain this great asset, which is our Northern Territory coast up here. This image shows just some of the reports that we've commissioned. We make sure that we get the best expert advice and do our research so that we make sure that all our work is well informed. And most importantly, it involves the Northern Territory community. So this is just an image at our wonderful deck chair cinema, a full house of Territorians coming out to one of our events there. This is an image of me holding postcards. Around 3,000 Territorians personally filled out one of these postcards and signed it, and we delivered it into Parliament and into the ministers, and these all sent a strong message from individuals that they want our coast protected. So this pile of cards landing on their doorstep certainly sent a strong message. So all of this work that the Territorian community has been doing has produced some great results. So we've got our first ever plan to protect Territory coasts. And just over a week ago, we had the Limmen Bight Marine Park declared. And so that's the first marine park in over 30 years and the Territory's second marine park. So that was a fantastic outcome. And that involved thousands of Territorians using their voice and making sure their voice was heard, saying that we want these special places looked after. We have also secured an extension to the moratorium on seabed mining, but it runs out in March 2021. So once again, that's looming. So it shows what the Territory community coming together and uniting their voices and making sure their voices are heard and what that can do, how that can achieve results. And this year in the Territory, we have a rare opportunity. We have an election in August. So it's perfect timing for Territorians to use their voices and make sure that all the parties hear that Territorians want their coast cared for and kept healthy for our fishing, for our marine wildlife and for our marine industries, and particularly tourism. Tourism generates a lot of jobs and brings in a lot of money into the Territory economy, and particularly regional communities. So that's very important. So now's the time for Territorians once again to make sure they use their voices, and I've popped on this slide a link to a sign-up page on our website, so you can sign up and make sure that you stay in the loop. We can let you know when there's things that you can do to participate. And of course, do follow us on Facebook. We're also always communicating out there and providing people with opportunities to use their voice. The last link, the bit.ly link, it will take you to a little bit of information and a list of candidates who are running in the upcoming Territory election. A really powerful thing to do is use your voice and contact your local candidates and tell them that you care about our coasts. The most important thing is that they do hear from Territorians and hear that it matters. That's really great. For our supporters across the country, we'd love for you to stay in the loop and do everything you can. So please do follow us on Facebook and sign up to our website and be part of it. We've achieved great things and we would love to keep achieving them going forward. So I think that's it from me. So thanks for joining. Please do send through your comments and your questions. If we haven't been able to get to you today, then we certainly will get back to you as soon as we can. So we look forward to hearing from you and working with you to keep our top end coast healthy. All right, everyone, take care.